Now, let me be clear. Don't get it twisted, this is not a trade price revealed video where we go over what exactly it is the Vancouver Canucks have highlighted that they want for this player. Instead, this is more speculation. It's just kind of an article going over what the cost could be for any other team willing to acquire this type of a guy. And I wanted to go out there and make a video about it because I feel like with all the Bo Horvat trade stuff that has been taking over the media here in Vancouver, it's been kind of lost upon us, the fact that one Brock Boeser is apparently also on the trade market, and his future is not guaranteed with this hockey team. Let's go over to the Vancouver Canucks and discuss the situation, but before we do that, I just wanted to give an update to what our plan is for today. The Canucks are playing the Calgary Flames in Calgary. Now, unfortunately, I will not be there to watch the game live as it happens on my TV. This is because later today there is the PNE Winter Fair, and I'm going to be going over to seeing that because, yeah, why not? Holiday lights, right? It's pretty cool. If anybody else is going to be there and you end up running into me and my family, then don't feel afraid to say hi. I actually do get approached in public quite often. It's a pretty interesting thing. And just to go off on this little tangent, it's somewhat mind-blowing to me that happens, especially since I rarely show my face in these YouTube videos. I know I showed my face a lot in streams and in vlogs, so the fact that people know what I look like isn't surprising, but the fact that it's to the extent where I've gotten recognized at the mall this year several times. I got recognized at the Cineplex in my town. I got recognized at Toy Traders in Langley as well because one of the employees recognized my voice. And then, of course, every time I go to a drop-in hockey session or I play with the hockey league that I'm a part of, I get recognized very frequently in that environment, which is not surprising in the slightest, but yeah. I'm at the PNE today, so if anybody's going to be there, then say hi. But let's go over to the Canucks and their Brock Boeser trade situation once again, because as we all know, just to set up the context, Boeser, 25 years old, 6.65 AAV till the end of 2025. He had just recently signed that contract, and already he may be on the move. He's got 16 points in 22 games played and only 4 goals. This would be his lowest productive goal season ever in the NHL, should he finish off with the 14-goal pace in 76 games that he is equipped with right now. We're going over on an article on thescore.com written by John Matisse from a week ago, examining trade scenarios for 3 high-profile players. Let's go over onto what the writer here talks about when it comes to Brock Boeser. Just 5 months after signing his contract, Boeser's Canucks tenure may be nearing an end. Yeah, don't remind me, John. It's not great. The article starts out by talking about how Boeser has had his struggles this season. Clearly, Canucks head coach Bruce Boudreau is not pleased, as he planned to make Boeser a healthy scratch for last Saturday's game against the Arizona Coyotes before Dakota Joshua's injury forced Boeser back into the lineup. This is where we get into the interesting part of the conversation. Boeser specifically has not asked for a trade, according to Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman. However, there is reportedly an understanding between his camp and the Canucks that he would prefer a move. Friedman also reported that Boeser's agent, Octagon Sports' Ben Hankinson, has been given permission to search for a trade partner. Thomas Drance wrote that the timing of it all, the planned scratch, and the same-day report on Hankinson's involvement is mostly coincidental, but still, whenever an agent gets permission to essentially negotiate on behalf of a front office, the market for the player presumably isn't particularly strong. That said, there are at least 6 teams who have reportedly expressed some degree of interest in Boeser, who carries a 6.65 AAV. Nobody's confusing him with a Selke Trophy candidate, but Boeser can wire the puck, scoring the equivalent of 30 goals over 82 games in multiple seasons. That's a nice way to put it. Yeah, he's been on pace for 30 goals multiple times, but he hasn't hit the mark because he hasn't played the games in order to get that. But when it comes to those landing spots, we already made a video going over the ones that were highlighted. Minnesota, we talked about Dallas, New Jersey was in there. You could see that video pop up on the recommended if you go out there and search for it. The Islanders and the Red Wings are 2 more teams with cap space and draft capital that could use a shoot-first winger. Pause. Boeser isn't that anymore, unfortunately. He does not shoot first. It's very odd. If either is okay with the contract and believes new surroundings can unlock Boeser's next level, a second or a third round pick is worth sacrificing. Time to buy low. And you know, that assessment kind of pains me to go out there and read, because it's like, you know, we know the Boeser contract is really not great, and it's made even worse with the fact that we had so many positive expectations for this guy. With all the stuff that he had to deal with, we were all sympathetic, and we were all saying, okay, he's gonna bounce back, and then there was the 30-goal guarantee from, like, everybody in the organization saying that he was gonna be this amazing goal scorer, and this would be the year. But now he is on pace for the worst goal-productive season he will ever have, and the contract is not looking all too redeemable in the slightest. So if the Canucks do end up trading away Boeser for a second or a third, like, that is the ultimate sell low move. The ultimate buy low, sell low. Because, I mean, admittedly, Boeser was not really supposed to be a top-tier prospect anyway. We remember back in 2015 when the Canucks took him in the 23rd overall spot, there were a lot of Canucks fans that were kind of surprised that he was the guy that they took. In fact, if you go over to the draft rankings, I mean, ISS have him at 35, McKeen's at 27, future considerations at 26, McKenzie at 26. So Brock was kind of a draft riser. And so you bought low on this guy. People wanted other players. I remember back in the 2015 draft, Canucks fans wanted Konechny. Canucks fans wanted Jeremy Waugh. Canucks fans wanted Nick Merkley. Canucks fans did not necessarily know anything about this guy from Burnsville, Minnesota, and Brock. You had this guy for a while. He became an absolute superstar in 2017-2018, was going to be a 30-goal guy until Jake Virtanen left the door open Silk Sonic style, and now, 5 years after that, Boeser might be traded for a second or a third. Like, you took a 23rd overall pick, jacked his value all the way up to the moon. He was the best rookie the Canucks had since Pavel Bure, and now he may be traded for this. Like, the ultimate value of the asset that you have at this point is worse than what you had when you got him in the first place. And sure, he's a guy that produced quite a few amount of points this season. I mean, he's on pace for 55. That's not that bad. But he's making 6.65 against the cap. Like, I don't know, change of scenery probably is the most desired outcome here for all parties involved. And it kind of pains me to say it, because the Canucks, I mean, they fumbled the bag here, and it's not even really their fault. Like, with Bo, this is their fault. 100%. This is Benning's fault. This is Allvin and Rutherford's inability to go out there and free up the money they needed to do in order to re-sign Bo. It's them prioritizing JT Miller instead of Bo in the offseason. That's their fault. That's their bad. For Brock, though, not the same. Absolutely not the same scenario. So, talk to the cons on your thoughts about the idea of, I guess you could talk about the Islanders and the Red Wings going after Brock, but there are also a whole bunch of other teams that we had already discussed. If you want to go out there and talk about these teams, then hey, go ahead, be my guest in the comment section below. Also, what are your thoughts about the idea of Boeser being traded for only a second or only a third? At this point, with the fact that the agent is the one negotiating the trades here, we had already seen so much going around saying that Brock really isn't worth all too much anymore anyway because of the decline in play and the cap hit that he is at. But it still does not make for a very fun conversation to acknowledge that that may be the case, doesn't it? So, talk to the cons on your thoughts about the Brock Boeser trade price. Do you think it really is that low? Do you think the Canucks actually can get significant value back in a Boeser trade? And if so, where do you think that leads them to? Is it an Islanders trade? Is it a Red Wings trade? Is it a Devils trade? Is it a trade with some other team? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Trolls99. And bye.